A train to nowhere. The Baluchistan crisis reignited. The Jafar Express, a steel serpent winding through the desolate beauty of Baluchistan, became a crucible of terror on March 12, 2025. Militants belonging to the Baloch Liberation Army, a separatist group fighting for independence from Pakistan, stormed the train, taking hundreds hostage. The ensuing standoff, punctuated by gunfire and frantic negotiations, gripped Pakistan and the world for 2 agonizing days. The climax, a bloody firefight between Pakistani security forces and the militants, left a trail of death and recrimination. 21 passengers lay dead, their dreams of reaching their destinations extinguished. 3 soldiers, tasked with protecting lives, paid the ultimate price. All 33 militants perished, their desperate gamble ending in a blaze of violence. Over 300 hostages were freed, bearing the psychological scars of their ordeal. The train hijacking was not an isolated incident. It was a stark and brutal reminder of the long-simmering conflict in Baluchistan, Pakistan's largest and most troubled province. A land rich in natural resources but starved of development, Baluchistan has been the battleground for a decades-long struggle between the Baloch people and the Pakistani state. The attack on the Jafar Express, targeting civilians rather than the usual military or government installations, has raised disturbing questions about the BLA's tactics and goals. Is this a sign of desperation? A desperate attempt to grab international attention? Or is it a calculated escalation, a harbinger of more widespread violence to come? Land of riches, sea of troubles. The roots of the Baluchistan conflict. Baluchistan is a land of stark contrasts. Vast deserts stretch towards the horizon, broken by rugged mountains and a coastline that meets the Arabian Sea. Beneath this harsh beauty lies a treasure trove of natural resources, natural gas, oil, copper, gold. Yet Baluchistan remains Pakistan's poorest province, its people deprived of basic necessities and opportunities. This glaring disparity between Baluchistan's natural wealth and its people's poverty is at the heart of the conflict. The Baloch people, who have a distinct language and culture, have long chafed under what they perceive as Pakistani oppression and exploitation. They accuse the central government of plundering their resources while denying them basic rights and development. The Baluchistan Liberation Army, formed in the early 2000s, has spearheaded the armed struggle for independence. Fueled by a potent mix of ethnic nationalism, economic grievances, and historical resentment, the BLA has waged a relentless campaign against Pakistani security forces and symbols of state authority. The Pakistani government, viewing the BLA as a terrorist organization, has responded with force, deploying troops and paramilitary forces to quell the insurgency. This heavy-handed approach, often characterized by human rights abuses and a lack of accountability, has only served to further alienate the Baloch people and fuel the cycle of violence. The Dragon's Shadow, Geopolitics, and the Baluchistan Quagmire. The Baluchistan conflict is not simply an internal Pakistani matter. The province's strategic location, at the crossroads of South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East, has made it a focal point of regional and international rivalries. Baluchistan's Gwadar port, developed with Chinese investment, is a key link in China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, particularly the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This multi-billion-dollar project aims to connect China's western provinces to the Arabian Sea, providing a shorter and more secure trade route. China's growing footprint in Baluchistan has raised alarm bells in India, Pakistan's arch-rival. India views CPEC as a threat to its strategic interests, particularly in the disputed Kashmir region, which borders Baluchistan. The United States, wary of China's growing influence, has also expressed concerns about CPEC and the human rights situation in Baluchistan. The Baluchistan conflict, therefore, is not just a struggle for autonomy or independence, it is a microcosm of the larger geopolitical competition playing out in the region, with Pakistan caught in the middle. A path forward. Dialogue, development, and dignity. The train hijacking and the ensuing bloodshed should serve as a wake-up call for all parties involved in the Baluchistan conflict. The path of violence has only led to more suffering and instability. A lasting solution requires a fundamental shift from military confrontation to political dialogue and reconciliation. The Pakistani government must recognize and address the legitimate grievances of the Baloch people. This includes granting greater autonomy to Baluchistan, ensuring a more equitable distribution of resources, and ending human rights abuses by security forces. The government should also engage in unconditional talks with FALOC leaders, including those from the BLA, to explore a peaceful resolution. International actors, particularly China and the United States, have a responsibility to use their influence to encourage a peaceful resolution to the conflict. China, as a major investor in Baluchistan, should ensure that its projects benefit the local population and do not exacerbate existing grievances. The United States, while maintaining its security partnership with Pakistan, should continue to raise concerns about human rights and press for a political solution. The Baluchistan conflict is complex and deeply rooted. However, history teaches us that even the most intractable conflicts can be resolved through dialogue, compromise, and a genuine commitment to peace. The alternative, continued violence and instability, is simply unacceptable.